In some absolutely major news, AEW has announced a historic brand new pay-per-view that will see them travel internationally twice in the same year. You heard that right. We're going to talk about what this new pay-per-view is, the partnership behind it, and what it could mean for AEW and their international growth as we move forward. We're also going to talk about a former WWE talent who was indeed backstage at AEW Forbidden Door. Are they going to sign? What's going on? We're going to fill you in on everything we know so far. I'm Omer Q for Real Take Wrestling. Let's get right into it. But first, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let's talk about the news. Today, AEW revealed that AEW Wrestle Dynasty in partnership with New Japan, CMLL, and Stardom will take place on January 5th in the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, Japan. A historic event. This marks AEW's third international event. We know that they by the time this event rolls around, they're going to have had 2 Wembley shows in London, and then this will be their third international show outside of North America. Monumental news, of course, January 5th. Why would they pick that date? Well, New Japan's got a little teeny tiny show going on the night before in the same place. Of course, Wrestle Kingdom taking place the night before this show, as is tradition, but the Forbidden Door did not just, fly open. It has been bursted open. I mean, this is basically, they're adding an extension to the house at this point. I mean, an insane announcement, and the fact that, it's so many things, right? Number one, you have renewed, I think, growth in the partnership between all of these companies. We have seen CMLL become an unlikely but very assured partner in this entire endeavor, coming to the table, allowing their talent to work, and allowing many of their talent to lose on AEW TV, but get that exposure as well. And now we're seeing this culminate not only at Forbidden Door in New York, but now in just 6 months, we're going to see this culminate in Tokyo, Japan. AEW will be making their Japan debut. This has been a day that many people have been waiting for. The question was, were we going to see Forbidden Door potentially go to Japan? That was a question I believe that was asked to Tony Khan in a previous press conference. However, he said that, he believes that Forbidden Door is kind of like the North American, it's better to have it in North America. And we were wondering, why is that? Why would they not have a Japanese Forbidden Door? Well, this is why, because they were planning a big show all along. So it is insane. I mean, given AEW's history and the number of talent that have come from Japan, this makes a lot of sense to do. And especially given how strong the partnership with New Japan is, I think it just got stronger, and this is evidence of that. Now you have a chance to bring back Will Ospreay, bring back Kazuchika Okada, bring back all of these big names to Japan, and we saw a lot of them in the promo package that played online and during the pay-per-view that was building up this event during the announcement. And I think that the reason obviously they're having it right after Tokyo Dome is right after Wrestle Kingdom, is twofold. Number one, this offers AEW and New Japan to have talent exchange across both nights. And number two, and I think a little bit more importantly, this will allow AEW to sell a lot of tickets for the Tokyo Dome show. And you would assume that they would be using the same exact setup that New Japan will have the night before. You would assume that a lot of the production, as AEW has handled a lot of the production on the North American side for Forbidden Door, I would assume, again, that many of the production needs will be filled by New Japan, because this is their domain, this is their territory. They understand this the best. So it's going to be also interesting, because I would expect this show to have a very different feel from a production standpoint than your typical AEW show. And I would also suspect that given the people that could be on this card, I'm talking Ospreay, Okada, you know, Kenny Omega, potentially Bryan, who was in this package, Moxley. This has the potential to be the biggest show in New Japan, on Japanese soil, like genuinely. And I think that is the goal. I think the goal here is to get as many people as humanly possible packed into the Tokyo Dome to see the biggest stars that AEW and New Japan have to see stars like Kenny Omega, who, like, on this big stage in the Tokyo Dome under the AEW banner, like, will be coming in. And then you would have people who have not wrestled under the New Japan banner, like Swerve Strickland, who's never wrestled in New Japan, especially in front of the Tokyo Dome. You have the opportunity to have all these guys. MJF. Imagine how pissed MJF would be in storyline, having to fly to Japan to wrestle in front of the Tokyo Dome. It would make for amazing television, and also it would sell a whole lot of tickets. Again, I think that's the goal here. As far as how far they get with this, we'll see, but the wrestling world is a buzzing about this, and for good reason. Like, this is a major announcement. We'll see what happens. There's going to be, I think, more details kind of revealed over the next few days. I assume on Wednesday night they will also talk about this, but we're going to move on and talk about our next and final topic of the day, and that is a free agent who is backstage at AEW Forbidden Door. I am talking about, of course, the one, the only Dijak. Let's get right into it. So, former WWE talent Dominic Dijakovic, aka Dijak, was backstage at AEW Forbidden Door. This was revealed via a FightfulSelect.com note, but also Dijakovic literally just put it out there on Twitter for everyone to see. He was watching it from the UBS Arena in Long Island, New York, and he had posted like this video of himself at his house saying, like, today's a nice day. It's nice weather out here in New England. Might need to take a bit of a 3-hour drive. Might be nice enough to take a 3-hour drive, and then obviously teasing the fact that he lives like right around 3 hours away from Long Island. And he did make that drive, and he was backstage at Forbidden Door. As of right now, there is no indication that he has signed a contract. He did not appear at the show. But I think, it is not uncommon for especially higher profile wrestlers or wrestlers that AEW might be trying to court or bring in at some point to be backstage. Get a sense of the vibe backstage. Get a sense of how other talent feel about the company. Get a sense of how the company runs. I think a lot of companies do that. A lot of companies will invite people to be like, yeah, take a look around. Let us know if you have questions, especially when you're a free agent. When you're a free agent, like, the possibilities are endless. Like, you could have Dijak come in and do a one-off, which I think he would be probably better, I think, long-term, because you don't want to sign him right off the bat, because he's, like, let's be honest, as great as Dijak is, I just don't see a full-time place for him right now on the roster. I think he kind of needs to build that mystique about him on the indies and then bring him in potentially, but I think this is planting the work for that. I also believe that, this was also a bit of a, hey, look, this is going to create some buzz. This is going to get people talking. I'm talking about it right now, right? And it was like a bit of marketing, right, for this big indie run that he is going to go on. He has a few matches already announced. He has obviously a absolute maniac when it comes to ratioing people on Twitter. He's like one of the best to ever do it when it comes to that. So I think this was a very deliberate attempt to, take the buzz of AEW Forbidden Door, use it to his advantage, and get his name out there, get people talking about it. But I could see him fit in AEW down the line. Initially, though, I honestly would love to see him go to New Japan, because God knows they need a big, like, North American or, like, foreign, like, talent. Because they have always had like that, like, 6'7" giant kind of guy, who is obviously not from Japan, like, on their roster, but right now that person is missing, and I think he could fill that void and be like the monster that New Japan needs to really like push through and have it like a dominant heel. I think he could be a very dominant heel. I know that kind of doesn't mesh too well with the current persona that he's doing in North America, but I think that you can have both exist at the same time. Many people have like different personas when they go to New Japan. Chris Jericho is one of them. He's got the Painmaker, which you can say what you want about the Painmaker. I thought it was cool at first, kind of overplayed now, but it is what it is. But totally could see Dijak at least appearing in AEW, but I don't know if he will sign just yet. But it was interesting to see him backstage. And Forbidden Door was interesting as well. We'll have another video about Forbidden Door up on the channel by hopefully in the morning. Definitely in the morning. I'm going to shoot for the morning. But odds are, if you're the morning you're watching this, then it's out. And I am not talking in a very soft voice because my voice is kind of dead. And I don't want to wake up my neighbors by like screaming like I usually do. So apologies for any volume issues there. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you think Dominic Dijakovic, Dijak, whatever you want to call him, do you think he should sign with AEW? Should he go somewhere else? Where would you like to see him? Who would you like to see him wrestle? Let me know in the comments section. Also, if you haven't already done so, do me a big time favor. Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. And until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.